So my advice for dumping someone is don't be a shite bag. And I don't mean shite bag as in break up by text or email or ghosting someone, all things you shouldn't do anyway. I just mean don't do what I did and work yourself up to have quote unquote the chat, because it's never as bad as you think. And if you do it right, you can still actually have a lovely friendship after it, which is what I've experienced. Yes, it's not pleasant and it's awkward. And if you really care about the person, even if it comes from you, you'll still be the one to probably be a greeting face mess for the first few days, much like I was. But that's because you feel rotten that you could have caused someone you care about even a smidgen of pain. P.S. That did heavy traumatise me though, and I don't know if I could ever do it again. So maybe next time I will just ghost them. Carry on.
Alright, breakups. Well, it boils down to your needs, priorities and personalities are not aligning. And if that's the case, but you've communicated effectively up to that point, then the breakup shouldn't really be a huge surprise to them. When it gets to that point, though, it needs to be a clean break. Don't let them think there's still a chance. Don't make promises you can't keep. Telling them that you still love them, it might soften the blow, but even if it's true, it's just really confusing and it just makes moving on that bit more complicated. I'd say try and focus on the breakup as an opportunity to try and re-establish your freedoms as individuals, and at all costs, avoid the nastiness and the bitterness, because no matter what, it's going to come in really handy when that person doesn't hate you.
No dirty talk, just podcasts, no turn-ons, so turn me on. By that I mean this podcast, not interested, so don't date me. Review me, just rate me, like, subscribe, don't date me. Review me, just rate me, like, subscribe, don't date me. Don't date me. Don't date me. Don't date me. Alexa, play the podcast Don't Date Me.
Okay, speaking of which, follow us on Instagram at It's Jamie Sparks and Twitter at It's Jamie Sparks.
Wait, is it?
At It's Jamie Sparks.
Don't date me. Don't date me. Don't date me.
Hello and welcome to Don't Date Me, a podcast where a certain number of adults discuss dating each week. I'm Jamie, a 37-year-old, 6'4", bisexual man and closeted Christian. And I want to meet your mum. And also, I am a little bit hungover. Who are you?
You would think you would know me by now.
Have you seen that Jackie Chan film, Who Am I?
No.
He falls out a helicopter in the middle of a forest, cracks his head, and then he doesn't remember who he is. And a lot of the film, he's just running about going, "Who am I?" It's really fun. Anyway, you're not Jackie Chan, right?
No, I'm not Jackie Chan. My name's Jason. How old am I? I'm 33.
30, you're a baby.
Yeah, at the moment you need to remember your age.
Oh.
I'm 6 foot, gay man, and if I did drag, I would pretty much be Trixie Mattel, because if you're going to commit, you might as well fucking commit.
Commit. Now, who's Trixie Mattel again? As some of the audience immediately turns off the podcast and screams.
Yeah, I beg your pardon.
Which was that again?
The one that looks like a Barbie doll.
Wait, let me Google it.
No. Like Trixie and Katya. The podcast.
Trixie Mattel. They've got a podcast. Oh, yes, I know who that is. Oh, they look fun.
Lucky.
Oh, no, wait, I've seen YouTube videos of them before.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, anyway, welcome to the podcast. This is season 3. Who knew? Who knew that we'd be here? It's been quite the journey, and it's been unexpected at every turn. I'm going to be honest, I have really enjoyed doing the podcast. I have a newfound appreciation for people that make podcasts, though, as I now see how much work it takes. And also the moving parts was the thing that I didn't really factor in, like scheduling and like making sure people are available and all this kind of stuff. But it's been really fun, and I think the thing that's impressed me the most is the different subjects that we've kind of tackled each week. Like going back to season 1 where we're looking at polyamory and stuff like that, and learning all about that, and just hearing people's perspectives and also life stories as well. Like, it's been interesting hearing my friends talk about their lives. So yeah, so thanks for sticking with us, and I'm excited to go forth with season 3 with you. So today's episode is, I thought it'd be funny to kind of like basically do the end at the start, the breakup episode. So basically today's episode is, wait, what is officially the title? I forget. Oh yeah, Shutting It Down, Your Guide to Dumping Someone. Because it's never a good conversation. Well, no, I was going to say it's never a good conversation to have. I think it is a good conversation to have, but it's a difficult conversation to have. Yeah. And I think it'd be funny for us to kind of talk through. So shall we do our top 3 in a proper Don't Date Me fashion? Shall we do our don'ts first? So me and Jason have both got our top 3s. As ever, if you disagree with us, then tweet us at Don't Date Me Pod, or Instagram us or whatever, and let us know your thoughts. But sidebar, whilst I remember, I could say this later, but I'll just say it now because I've just remembered it's exciting. We actually have our own email address now, so we've got a proper podcast email. So if you want to be old school and retro, you can email us at contact@itsjamiesparks.com, or our official podcast one, which is don'tdatemepod@itsjamiesparks.com. Yay! Anyway, so our top 3 don't do's for breakups. Jason, what is your number 1?
Well, I have 4.
Oh shit! So you do.
Just to be annoying.
Go for that.
So, but I'm here like, are they the conversations, or these are stuff that you should do during? So the first one I have is like essentially don't ghost them. Okay. But of course, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, that's maybe required. Yeah, I would say for sure. Like, I would say ghosting people is not pleasant, and I think our podcast's perspective is officially ghosting bad. But yeah, I think if you're in an unhealthy or unsafe situation, remove yourself ASAP, and sometimes you just gotta cut ties and get out of there. So yeah, I agree with that one. Okay, my first one is don't avoid it, because I think it's really easy for people when it comes to breakups of just avoiding it. And I know so many people who have stayed in relationships for like 2-3 years, sometimes more, even past the point where they've decided they're going to break up. And that to be super sad, because then you're in this thing that you're not proper invested in, and then it's just, taking over. I just think it's really sad. But that's coming from the perspective of someone with commitment issues, and also the fact that I'm quite decisive. So as soon as I made my mind up about something, I'm like, bye. But yeah, I would say don't avoid it. Just do it, as we say. Yes. Okay. What's your next one? My next one is don't put off big conversations. Essentially, that's another point of avoiding it. But essentially, like, why be in a relationship for 5 years if you don't want the same end goals? Yeah. Like, you say you want to get married and have kids and they don't. Yeah. That's kind of an important conversation.
Yeah, and I guess it's easy to kind of avoid those conversations when you're just getting on with the daily grind or whatever.
Yeah, especially when you start, but then the worst thing to do is start off like, oh, I'll talk about it, and then boom, 5 years go by and you're like, maybe we should have this conversation.
So have those big conversations. Yeah. Okay, my next one is don't date their family.
I highly recommend not dating family, just period. But
Let's get real Game of Thrones about it. No,
Game of Thrones, I'm thinking about
So-
Sweet Home Alabama here.
so what I mean by that though is it's natural for your lives to merge, but I know quite a few people who have been in relationships and they've realised that the relationship's not right, but then they've kept it going effectively because they value the relationship that they have with the parent of their partner or their other family members like brothers and sisters and stuff, which is a natural thing, but also don't be doing that.
I'm here like thinking like you break up with them and go with their brother or sister.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely don't do that. That's bad. That's bad karma right there.
Bad juju.
Bad juju. Okay, what's your next one?
Oh well, my next one is don't date your coworkers because
Oh,
we already know if that breaks up, you're still going to see them.
yeah, that is super awkward. Now, I have not in my current workplace, and I don't intend to in my current workplace, but in previous places, I have fell into relationships with people, so I can see how it does happen because you effectively spend so much time with them, and you see them more than your family, and more than all your friends as well.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Like just the whole premise of you're going to work, you're seeing them, and then you go home, and then you start missing them. But the moment that you start dating is the moment that you'll see them 24/7.
Yep.
And then
You see them all the time.
if it doesn't work, you're still going to see them for all your work kind of related stuff.
Exactly. It'd be intense. And I think, although to be fair, I think it's possible to have a workplace romance and it not work and then be civil and adult about it, but
Yeah,
I've
or-
just seen it the
or-
opposite
yeah.
way around so many times.
Yeah, or vice versa. Like it could work,
Yeah,
but I would recommend against it
I agree.
personally.
Devils. Yeah, and ultimately that helps you avoid having to have an awkward breakup, which is what the theme is. Okay, my last one, unless I can think of another one as you do your last one, or last two. Oh no, yeah, your last one, is don't try to be friends too quickly. Now, this is from personal experience because ultimately you will want to have sex with them. And sex between friends is fine.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah. But when you're kind of like migrating out of that relationship that's been a committed like boyfriend, girlfriend, or boyfriend, whatever the situation is, relationship, it's too difficult to kind of like switch off emotions and stuff like that. And then before you know it, you're just kind of dating but not realizing it because you're just hanging out and having sex.
Yeah.
So, and it's natural to want them because you've been with them for so long. So, but I would just say don't try to be friends too quickly. So, when I say that, I mean that as much as like feel free. And it's at this moment that I realize how hungover I am. I'm so hungover right now. I feel disgusted.
But I'm fresh like a daisy.
Oh, I feel disgusted. I'm like hanging right now. But yeah, when I say don't be afraid to be like not friends too quickly, I essentially mean if you need to block them, block them. Like that's healthy. And I don't know, I think maybe I would encourage people to have that as part of their breakup chat is just so you know, I'm gonna block you. Because I feel like I would probably still be friends with some exes if I had that conversation and I made it clear to them that I was going to just like completely block them from my life. Not all of them, but some of them.
And then come back.
Yeah. With like a kind of like, hey, how are you? Hope you're well kind of thing. But because I didn't let them know I was going to do that, I think they then took the huff.
I know.
So-
I've seen unhealthy like friends after
Yeah.
dating, which I'm still here just kind of confused at how they do date.
Yep. Yeah.
Just in general, like especially after that.
Curious. Okay, and then what's your last one?
So my last one is essentially don't back out.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you're going to break up with someone, commit to it, because it's the worst thing to do would be to try to break up with someone for you to pretty much, what's the best way? Essentially, they get upset. You get upset because you've upset them, and you decide to back out on the breakup.
Yeah.
And then essentially you're back in the lovely repeating cycle of like, I want to break up with them, but
And then it's not.
they'll be upset, and I don't want them to be upset. And it just makes it worse, and it would end up with resentment.
Yeah, this is why I feel like you should have the conversation and then a clean break and like just block and then move on and then touch base with them. Because otherwise you just get into this cycle of avoiding it. I've got this habit of being really decisive and deciding on to do a breakup or move on or whatever, and then I hang out with them and I'm like, oh, I don't know though. I'm like, well, and it's like I start to kind of like second guess myself.
See, I'm so for me personally, like most of my exes, like I felt like after we broke up, like I missed them, I want to get back with them. But the problem is I only remember the good stuff, and that's the worst part.
Really?
Like, you normally think of all the good stuff. Oh, they were good at this, blah 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 blah. But what you really need to remember is all the bad stuff, and the pretty much the main reason why you broke up. Like if you can think of all the bad reasons and then the reason why you broke up, that should either cement your commitment to it.
Yeah,
essentially. But if you broke up and then you essentially think of like, oh, he just annoyed me, or she annoyed me snoring, something like that. It was like, it's kind of a petty thing to break up over.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, on you go.
Yeah, but like big stuff, like they didn't care or show any,
or remember your birthday and things.
Oft.
I feel I sometimes think writing a list is good, like a pros and cons list, because if you're not sure. But also the other thing I would say is trust your gut instinct, which is something that I have learned the most extreme hard way to do. Because I'm very decisive when it comes to everything except romance for some reason. And also when it comes to my friends' romance, I'm always like, do this, do that, don't do this, like trust your gut, like blah, blah, blah. But I just don't follow my own advice. So yeah.
Same.
But also I think writing a list can sometimes be a good way of like vocalizing your thoughts to yourself, and also then talking to your friends and getting their feedback about what you should do about the situation. So yeah, so that's our don'ts. So how do we break up with someone? Well, we are both experts at breaking people's hearts, so that's why we googled it.
Exactly.
Because we weren't too sure of the advice to give people.
Give people, like, you ask someone that's compulsory to say yes for everything.
I know, I'm like,
how do we break up and say no to people? Like, you're asking the wrong person.
I'm asking a polite Canadian who's unable to say enable. Is that a word? Enable's not a word.
No.
Unable to say no. I'm like, you on podcast now? Yes. You're like, yes. Yeah. Yes, I must.
We're doing a podcast today. I'm like, oh, okay.
Blink once if you're okay. Okay, so how do we search online? Hang on, my legs are going to sleep. Again, it'd be fun if people could see what is the situation right now with us under a rug in my lounge. But hey, if it gets less echo, that's fine by me.
I can take a picture of it later.
Let's do it. Okay, so we searched online and we found a couple of options to run you through. We did a BuzzFeed quiz for fun, and it was not helpful. It gave bad advice, so maybe don't use BuzzFeed for relationship advice. And then Cosmopolitan, was it Cosmopolitan? Had an article which sounded interesting, it sounded promising. It was like, this is the advice therapists give you for breakups. It was trash.
Oh yeah, it was kind of
a list of obvious things.
Yeah, well, we say obvious things. It was very obvious to us, but like very, very example was like, plan what you're going to say You're talking to two people that literally plan every possible outcome
Exactly.
of that conversation before we even start that conversation.
Yeah, I highly doubt that the vast majority of people, if they're going to break up with someone, they don't think about what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Because if you've thought about you don't want to be with someone, you've clearly thought about it for ages.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe they mean like plan the conversation. I guess. But I don't know.
Well, one of them literally said, "Don't be drunk," and I'm like, well, that should be a given, but you never know.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall for a drunk breakup, how awful. Okay, so these top tips come from unsolicited advice from Vice.com. So let's see how we get on here. But I think these are quite good, to be fair. Okay, top tip number 1: don't be afraid to communicate how you feel.
I hate your guts.
So
Maybe more elegant words.
so it's whether you're in a situationship. Oh, that's an interesting one. Never heard of that before. Oh, maybe that could be a theme for this season and episode. Monogamous or polyamorous relationships. Communicating your needs in a non-blaming and honest way is always the best foot forward. I would say that's good advice.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Don't start off with we're breaking up because of you, and start listing all their bad stuff.
I mean, there has been the odd occasion where I'm thinking to myself, it's not me, it's definitely you.
But everyone uses it's not you, it's me,
I know.
so that we don't need to start listing everything wrong with you.
It is weird though, because sometimes people then, even if you don't give examples, people then want specific examples, and you're like, well, there's no point in doing that. Anyway, that's the other thing as well. See, now that I think about it, if you don't want to give someone a list of reasons, or you don't want to explain yourself, you don't have to. Like, if you feel that it's not going to be, I've been in situations before where I've had to end it, and I felt like there is no point me talking about anything, and there's no point me saying the reason why or anything like that, because I just thought the person would not actually listen to a single thing I said. So sometimes don't waste your time. But that goes back to more the situation we were talking about earlier of like, sometimes you just need to remove yourself from a situation.
Oh, true.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Ghost them.
No, don't ghost them. Well, maybe ghost them. Okay.
Depends.
Oh no, let's call it. And now, just like clockwork, their advice is other tip: break up in person if possible. What's your thoughts?
Well, yes, I do think breaking up with someone definitely should be in person.
Yeah.
Obviously, the certain stuff will really depends, because like normally when I think of not breaking up with someone in person, they're normally doing a long distance thing.
Yeah.
That's my mind immediately going, well, the reason that they're breaking up is because they're not near each other, and they're not breaking up in person because they're not near each other.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
My mind already goes to that.
Yeah.
Thinking that's just common, but
I think for me, I would say 1,000% going back to our first one.
yeah.
Break up with them in person if possible, but if you don't feel safe, and you want to remove yourself from the situation, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Because I'm totally there with you for not breaking up with people.
Wait till they go to work, pack all your shit, run away, send one text, and then change your number.
Yeah.
It's over. Bye.
But I think it is generally bad practice to just break up with someone via voicemail, voice note, or text message. I think it's much better to like do it in person. It's more just respectful, isn't it? Saying mutual respect. Okay, the next one. Don't try to make the other person feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says, if you don't want to be with someone, then you don't have to be with them. Take the time you need to forgive yourself and do what's best for you.
That's pretty much what I was saying about the commit.
Yeah.
You don't want to start breaking up with someone for them to be upset, you feel bad, and then you pull back out and you're like, no, it's fine, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
When you've already pretty much mentally checked out.
Now that I think about it, because I almost thought to myself, I've never been in that situation before, but years ago I was, and I think it is difficult though, right? because we're both saying this from like a very like, we're single and like we're just talking about it, blah blah blah. But like when you're in the moment and you really actually do like someone, but you just know you're not right for each other. So I've been there in that situation once years and years ago, and we just kept breaking up and then getting back together.
Yeah, no.
But it wasn't necessarily to make the other person feel better, I don't think. Oh no, it was, I guess. Actually, it probably was.
Yeah. It's the same for, I told you about the ex that dated, and then
Yeah.
I was 25, he was 19.
Yeah.
And he broke up with me because I wanted kids
Oh,
one
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Well, of course, he was 19. He's clearly not thought about that. But he's clearly thought about it because he knows I want it one day.
Yeah.
And then clearly was like, I don't want to be 5 years down the line. And then decide this and
now
kinda
he has kids.
Pop the bubble.
Oh my god, does he have kids?
God knows, I don't have him on anything.
Oh, let's search. Let's find out later. Tune in next week.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
the
an
joys.
interesting one.
I'm here like I've literally just had my niece and nephew around, and I'm here like I don't know how parents deal with children on
me
the
neither.
daily. Okay.
I do like the idea of having kids, but I just think practicality. Well, I have too much credit card debt right now to have any, even a cat, to be honest. But
I've got 2 cats,
oh
and
god,
they're extra clingy.
do you want some credit cards?
I've got plenty of credit cards.
Oh Jesus. So yeah, I think I do want kids, but the situation needs to be right though. Anyway, right. The next top tip: cut all contact. Oh, this is my favorite one. Cut all contact. Full stop. No. Cut all contact for as long as you need to. Yes, that means blocking them if you have to. Yes. Finger snap. Oh my god, I'm so hungover. I'm so hungover I can't really move my mouth anymore. I'm like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm a big advocate of space because you need to have a clear mind, and sometimes that's by any means necessary. So I think it's okay, and I definitely, as I said from previous experience, I think it's okay to and better to say to someone, I am going to do this, just so you know. Because it just gives you headspace, you can focus on yourself, you can recompartmentalize everything and see things with clarity. Whereas if you're reminded about them all the time, you're not going to think logically. And also it's that way where the algorithm is designed to keep you engaged with the content you engage with the most. So it's natural for Facebook and Instagram and Twitter to just keep throwing their content at you. Unless you then tweak it by like modifying it or whatever. So sometimes you just need to make it easier for yourself.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I've only seen gay guys do this, but they break up and then stay in the same like place, like share the same flat or house.
Yeah, that's weird.
Afterwards, and I'm here like, you guys have no space, and then like it just breeds.
It definitely does breed.
Well, it breeds discontent.
It does.
Because if one starts dating someone else, the other person might not be over it.
But here's the thing, though, just to be devil's advocate, if they're in that sort of like open relationship dynamics, I think
like that,
I can
that
understand
could make sense. But like if
it's like a normal, not
Yeah.
normal, but you know what I mean, like classic, what's the word I'm looking for? Conventional.
Yes, that's what
Conventional relationship dynamic. Yeah, that's weird. And it's not healthy.
No.
Because how can you move? Like, that's the thing. Like, I've never got to that point where I've actually full-time live with someone in a relationship. So I can't even imagine that. But I know for definite, there's absolutely no way hell would freeze over before I would like live with an ex. Unless I was really good friends with them. But then again, I don't know. Maybe with me being all like, maybe polyamory is the way forward. I don't know. Never say never.
like literally like it's probably good. One of my exes, we broke up. I moved back home with my mom, and then I got a flat, and then essentially he just avoided some letters, and he was being kicked out.
Oh no.
And like he was terrible for just putting his head in the sand and just hoping it would go away.
Ugh.
Which was one of the reasons why we broke up.
Yeah.
But that he literally ended up messaging me going he doesn't know where to go, and he moved in with me for like 3 months before he got his own place.
I mean, that's understandable, but that must have been difficult though, right?
There was absolutely nothing there for us.
Oh really?
It was just we moved from like essentially being like dating to
Yeah.
being just kind of friends.
Okay, so that's not so bad.
But it wasn't immediately after. I think it was like
Yeah.
6 months, maybe like 10 months after we broke up.
Yeah.
And I've got my own place, settled in, and everything was fine. And he needed help, and he moved in.
That's less weird, I think.
Yeah. It was during the lovely. Do you remember that massive winter storm where pretty much Glasgow just stopped?
Oh, it sounded quite romantic, Jason.
Oh yeah, yeah. We literally went to the shops, got bread and milk, and then we just played games and made cups
actually,
of
I do
teas
remember that.
for like the week.
I do remember that because I was sorry, not stuck. Oops. I was living back at home for a while to save money, and so I was living in Bridge of Weir with my mum, and it was hilarious because it felt like the winter of discontent or something like that. Because you went down to the supermarket and it was all like the local co-op was all sold out.
Yeah,
of
like,
everything.
Everything was sold out like
was
after
mad.
a couple of days.
That'll be us this winter.
Yeah, I tried. I remember like called in sick. Couldn't make it into work. But I literally managed to dig my car out, started driving down the road
no.
at very slow speed.
Yeah.
Tried to turn the corner, and I did a 180. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go back and park my car where
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
dug it and tell work I'm not coming in until the buses run.
Snow day, baby.
Yeah.
And then the buses never came.
And buses never came.
Yes, love it. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Talk about the breakup with someone you trust. Hell yeah. Yeah. Getting advice from friends, necessary. Also, if Emma Jane listens to this, she'll be screaming at the speaker. And also take that advice. Don't ask for the advice and then ignore it, because otherwise you're just wasting everyone's time
No, you don't.
for 3 months.
You don't always have to take someone's advice.
No, that's true.
But
But if you know their advice is right, then again, it's your prerogative to
Yeah.
take it later if you,
you
want
can,
to.
you literally can ask for someone's opinion and advice, and either it's entire your right to either accept it, do what they've advised, or
Yeah,
like do something completely different.
definitely was.
However, don't go back to that person to bitch about your your decision after
Exactly.
doing the complete opposite. It was
Exactly.
like, why didn't this work? It's because you didn't listen to me. Because that's what you'll get.
Emma Jane and Eve are good friends because they just say their advice and then they disengage because they know, because even they'll know if I'm like, I'm like, that's great advice, and I think that I'm convincing them that I'm going to take their advice. But
Oh, no,
they know me too well.
No, you're not convincing anyone.
Okay, now next one. Allow yourself time to be sad.
Yes,
This is a good one.
that agrees with the whole space thing.
And that's the thing. If you don't give yourself space, you're not going to give yourself time to be sad. You need to mourn the loss of the relationship. 1,000%.
Well, yes, I totally agree. Unless you've stayed in that relationship too long, where your mourning happened during.
Oh God, that's Lindsay. Yeah, wee Lindsay. Yeah,
Well, now
actually,
you're name dropping. I'm trying my hardest not to name drop anyone here, and you're like name drop.
Name dropping everyone. I think James has some good. I'm just name dropping everyone.
Yes, you
I
are.
feel like James said a good thing when I was going through a breakup. He said like, "Let it burn." He's like, don't shy away from feeling shit or mourning the loss of it, because you need to, because otherwise you're never going to move on. And it's dead easy to just like, not for everyone, but I think kindred spirits out there who are like me, where they're like, bye bye, and then you just shut it down and you move on, and like you think you processed it, but you actually haven't, and then years later it comes back to bite you in the ass. That's not healthy. Give yourself time to be sad.
That's not healthy. Another reason not to go to a therapist.
Exactly right. Go to therapy, everyone. Do it. Okay. And speaking of therapy, put yourself first. That's an interesting one to have in a breakup situation. The longer you spend time in a relationship, the more your sense of identity melds with theirs. So when you break up, it feels like you've lost part of yourself. It's because you have.
I totally agree with that.
See, I can't.
Well, you said you don't live with them.
Yeah, I've never lived with someone.
I've lived with exes, and
So your stuff all
you
merges.
slowly start like
Friend groups. I've had friend groups
it's
merge.
essentially you start doing stuff together. Like, oh, we're going to go out drinking. Like, you always go out like in as a couple. You stop doing stuff individually because the whole point in the relationship would be kind of what you're doing with plug your YouTube channel now. Like teaching friends to do stuff. You're essentially
doing it with
teaching them and getting them to be interactive, and then essentially once you break up,
they're not there.
So you're not
so it
doing stuff
becomes
together.
okay. So they become a part of you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Also,
So-
good drop there from my YouTube channel.
You're welcome.
Very good. Check it out now. Subscribe and hit that bell notification.
I feel like you should get paid for that.
I'll make you more croissants. I like how I'm saying make you croissants when literally I just like put them in the oven for 4 minutes. I don't know why this one has thrown me so much. Put yourself first.
Wow.
Do you know, I actually, now that I think about it, most of the time when I've had breakups, it's been because I've never had that moment where I'm like, I'm doing this for me. I think I always wait till it gets to the point where I'm like, this relationship can't function anymore. Or I'm like, I can't function in it.
That is breaking up at that point is putting yourself first.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You're saying that it doesn't work for you. That's you putting you first.
Okay.
I can't do this relationship anymore.
So maybe I'm good at that. I'm just not aware.
Yeah, you might not be aware that you're doing it, but it kind of feels bad, but it's if you're the one breaking up, you are kind of putting it you first.
Yeah. The advice from the doctor that they got some advice from here says, after your breakup with someone, take time to put yourself back together again. Focus on sleep, education, exercise, diet, and socializing. I would say this is a good set of advice. What I would say though is, because I think I'm quite good and in some ways find solace in the breakup recovery position, because I'm so used to it at this point. But I feel like people should be really mindful, right? Because I was so focused on having a good time that I forgot that I need to look out for my finances. So my top tip is do what it takes to get yourself back on track, but be mindful of how much money you're spending. Don't be booking yourself Hilton hotels in London, baby, and buying a sofa. Although this sofa I do love a sofa.
Oh, this sofa is lovely.
I feel like you and James don't like it though. Is it the lack of back support?
No, I'm just scared because it's
touch it?
It's brand new, and like the last thing I want to do is buy you a new couch.
I know, right? I'm always like, I give people food and I'm like, okay, don't touch the sofa though.
Exactly.
Make yourself at home.
Like it's very comfy.
Don't
It's
move.
very nice, but it is very much. Oh my god, I'm going to be murdered if I do anything remotely.
Even, do you know what though? I think it just for context for people that haven't seen it, I should really take a photo of it and put it up. But it's, in fact, Lindsay said that ages ago. She said that we should start taking behind the scenes photos. I mean, we have not done that in 2 seasons. So
No,
we need to start doing
exactly.
it.
We need to take a photo of us under this lovely blanket.
Actually, let's do it right now. Hang on. Although I don't know if it'll come out. Oh my god, it looks so creepy. It looks like we're telling each other ghost stories. That's funny. Go take a photo of me. Oh, that's kind of fun. I like it. It's a kitchen. Head to instagram.com/don't date me pod to see those photos. Okay.
Oh, and the couch. We'll take a couch.
Oh
photo
yeah,
later.
we'll take an exclusive couch photo.
Yeah, if they see the photos first, they'll go,
Yeah,
why is there a random couch?
Oh, actually, now that before I forget, this is a random thought that just came to my head. We're almost at the end of the episode, but a quick shout out to Richie on Instagram. I'm so sorry it took me so long to send you your prize, because he won the prize. One of the people that won the prize giveaway for the Mila or Wax candle giveaway and the podcast merch, and I literally for about a month kept forgetting to post it because I kept putting it in my cupboard because I didn't want it to get like dirty or whatever, and then I just kept forgetting to do it, and then I was like, oops. So I sent it. So anyway, shout out to you, Richie. Hope you enjoy your candle. Anyway, don't let the fear of being single hold you back. What's your thoughts?
I'm the complete opposite now. I've been single for God knows how long.
I love being single.
I have the fear of being in a relationship now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
I don't know. I agree to a certain extent. Like I would say I don't think I fear being in a relationship. I'm apprehensive though after recent situations, but I would say that
I can understand it.
yeah, I empathize with it.
Well,
But
it's definitely my first relationship. Like I'm adamant, I stayed there a year longer than I probably should have.
yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Mostly because I thought, no, I wasn't good enough.
No.
I wasn't good enough. No one else
You're
would
good
love
enough.
me. One of those.
No. You're good enough, Jay said. No one's good enough for you.
I was going to say I was young, but
But I don't know,
I wasn't
like
that young.
how old were you?
I think it was 22.
That's quite young. As a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel I really enjoy being single to the point where I actually can't imagine living with someone. Like, ideally, the situation would be we both just have our own houses. That's my dream. Because I just love,
Really?
or like a massive house
No,
with opposite wings.
I'm
just love my
I'm just
own space.
picturing like those.
And basically, it's because I'm Lara Croft. I just love being on my own.
No, like like was it Bewitched? They're in one room with two separate beds,
Oh yeah.
separate beds, single
Yeah, that's
beds.
cute. I don't
Like
know.
I could see that for you.
But yeah, being comfortable with being single.
Oh,
But now that I think about it, I do know loads of people that just, well, someone we know, people who just kind of bounce from relationship to relationship, or fall into relationship to relationship. Like they're so like I'm sure listener out.
thanks for calling me out.
Oh, you don't do that, do you? Do you do that?
I used to.
I've never done that before. I think that's why, in some ways, I'm like, I'm good at being single because I usually give myself space and do my single thing. I feel like people should definitely have a month off after a breakup. Oh, not necessarily if you've been with someone for a couple of weeks, that doesn't count. That's nothing. Get over it. But if your emotions are valid, but get a grip. But I feel that if you're... although, yeah, anyway.
Oh my.
Although on the flip side of that, I get it because like feelings are feelings at the end of the day, and your feelings are valid, baby. But I feel that like people need to give themselves space, time, and focus on themselves before jumping in. Don't get me wrong though, like rebound hard and fast. Oh no, we're not doing that. That's not this podcast.
No, that's another one.
That's not the one. Okay, and then the last one is think twice about staying friends with your ex. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I think we agreed with that. Like obviously, like as you need space.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how that relationship kind of ended, how it all progressed and everything. But you need space to pretty much to friend zone them. I don't know what other word to sound that, but the whole premise of friend zoning is annoying to me. But I don't know another word to describe it.
Yeah, I think it's important to... I think it's beautiful that there are people who are able to remain friends with exes. I think it's great. That's my thought.
See, I think it's good on certain situations,
But not all.
But not all. As I said, like I know some people that are exes that are like best friends, but I mean like they're too best friendly, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
to the point where you think that
They're still dating.
they're still shagging. Like,
wow.
like there's no doubt in my mind.
But that's the other thing, though. Like,
I've seen them date other people while they're being
oh wow,
that
oh wow,
like friendly to each other, and I'm here like,
welcome to the gay community.
like, are they still going at it like rabbits, or
That's hilarious.
or have they invited guests to the viewing?
Oh my. Well, yeah, so they basically say here, if you make the decision to stay in each other's lives, it's very important to set boundaries. I agree. You don't.
Yes.
You didn't spend all that time working out how to break up with someone for nothing. There's no point of staying friends with your ex if you're secretly hoping you'll get back together. Mm-hmm. That to me is so tragic. I think because I'm very decisive when it comes to it, like when rubber hits the road or whatever the phrase is, that makes me sad when people secretly hope they get back with their exes. But
see, like you do need boundaries, because like prime example, one of my exes, like we're like really good friends. The one that I'm actually the best man for his future wedding with his new boyfriend. But like when we broke up, I met all his family. His cousin invited me to her wedding.
Cute.
And I'm here like, it's kind of weird. I was like, I'm not sure if it was fine. Paul said, oh, it was absolutely fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, lovely name drop. Whoops. But then we went there. He was adamant, like I was there for the full wedding. I was like, I'm definitely not there for the full wedding. Mm-hmm. We're no longer dating. So like I was just the evening one. Went there.
Was it awkward?
It was okay until his family asked me, like, are we back together?
What?
Yeah, because they were like, it's kind of weird that you're here. And they literally,
oh right, because for a second I
literally,
thought it was his wedding. I was like,
no,
what?
No,
but okay, I get it now.
Cousin's wedding. They were happy to see me, but then it was also like, are you guys back together? Because it's kind of weird that you're here. And I'm like, I thought it was something weird with me being here as well. But he was he said like, oh no, like really want you to go. And I'm like, I've only met her like 3 times. She was lovely, love her to bits, but
still
only
part
met
of the family
3 times.
Look at you dating the family. It's cute.
I know. And they asked, and it was just weird. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And then I was just like, okay, bye. Thank you for inviting me, bye. And I think I was only there for like 2 hours.
That's still great, though. I think that's great they invited you. Well, I suppose in summary, in an ideal world, you would be friends with them eventually, but you need to set boundaries. Mm-hmm. You need to definitely have space. You need to become your own person. You need to be willing to block them on social media and whatever other things you need to do to get over them. You need to be decisive. You need to get good advice from your friends. Yeah, I think that's kind of the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Breakups suck, though.
Oh,
it's difficult, but it's a necessary part of growth, and I think you learn a lot about yourself. And the best thing is that you're not the same person after. So that's why it's cool to like, if you start to think, what if we got back together? Well, you're not the same person now that you were when you were with them, and they're not the same person either. They're probably worse. No. Dum. So that's our thoughts on breakups. I hope that guide will serve you well in the world of dating. We want to know your thoughts, though, so you can drop us a WhatsApp voice note on our WhatsApp on our Instagram page. The way you do this, just to be really clear for you, is you head to instagram.com/don'tdatemepod, and then there's a contact button. So if you hit that contact button, you've got a couple of options. You can email the podcast, don'tdatemepod@itsjamiesparks.com. That's don'tdatemepod@itsjamiesparks.com. Or you can text us or WhatsApp us, and the number is there. And if you hit WhatsApp, it'll open WhatsApp and you can leave us a voice note. Feel free to say hello, ask us questions, anything you want, anything goes. Jason looks concerned. He's like, anything? And yeah, and also if you've got a dating horror story or need some advice, you can let us know on those options, and you can also share an opinion as well. We look forward to hearing from you. Now, as ever, we've got our podcast merch, so there's a link in the show notes for that. So if you fancy representing, feel free. Don't forget to rate the episode 5 stars on your platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts, because it helps people find the podcast. Also, if you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to follow, because people are listening there, and we've got more listeners than we do followers. So if you're coming back each week, give us a follow, because again, that helps us people find the episode. And another thing I've learned is that you feel free to keep rating. So each time you bounce into the episodes, if you rate the podcast again, it's a fresh rating. I just thought that you just rated it once, but you don't. You actually continually can rate it. Mm-hmm. So do it and leave us a wee review as well. That would be appreciated. Other things that are happening, I do weekly... I feel like I've not really mentioned this for ages, but I do weekly Let's Plays on YouTube and Twitch. So if you are of the video game persuasion, then you can come and hang out with me and have some banter. It's mostly just myself, but sometimes I have friends joining me as well for that. We've done a full Let's Play of The Last of Us Part 2, which was super traumatic and really fun. And last week, I played a bit of classic Doom. And there's loads more video game stuff coming up in the future. And then also on my YouTube channel, we are doing the monthly ongoing series of Becoming the Tomb Raider. How was your experience, Jason, of being YouTube famous, you son of a gun?
Well, I enjoyed it. I actually had quite a lot of fun
Yay!
doing archery.
It was good.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went out to the Scottish countryside and we did some archery. And spoilers, Jason's better. Fuming. I'm supposed to be the arch instructor, but he's better. So yeah,
It just means you're a good instructor.
I'll take it. I'll take it where I can get it. And in the coming months, we've got some other episodes coming up of that. We're going to do, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, which it never does, but hopefully it will. We're going to do a caving episode where we go caving. We're going to do a parkour one. Parkour. I want to do an equestrian horse riding situation as well. And if you have any more suggestions for other Tomb Raider style things, let us know and we'll try to get those adventures planned. Great. Well, I guess that's the end of the episode. Season 3, baby. Let's do it. So as we say the same way every single week, stay optimistic that you're going to be friends with your ex, but don't be friends too quickly, otherwise you're just going to have a bunch of sex. And whatever you do,
don't date me.
Hey, thank you for listening. The Don't Date Me podcast is created by Jamie Sparks Productions. If you enjoyed it, follow our show and rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. You can rate us each time you listen to an episode. Pure date, as it helps people find our show. Keep in touch by dropping us an email at don'tdatemepod@itsjamiesparks.com and follow us on Twitter or Instagram at don'tdatemepod. If you love what we're doing, please consider donating to UNICEF to aid the people of Ukraine. Recently, our listeners raised £410 after gift matching. You can find the link in the show notes. See you on the next episode.